Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the fourth grade concept of comparing fractions. This is standard 4.3D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 13 of the 2025 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we have a model that is shaded here, and we need to find a fraction that is less than. So that's big. Not equal to, not greater than, but less than. Let's see what we have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is 6/12. Now, what's going to help us here is we could, if we wanted to, we could just leave it at 6/12, and we could change all of these into twelfths, and then we could compare. But if you notice that, take a look at this. If I were to move this box over here, shade that in, this box over here, and shade that in, and this box right here, and shade that in, guess what you get? If these three kind of go away, and I move those boxes over, I've got half of it. That's a visual way to think about. We can also simply divide by the greatest common factor, which happens to be 6. This is 1/2. Okay, so we need to find a fraction less than 1/2. So that should be fairly simple. There are a few ways we can do this. One way would be to make 1/2 equal denominator-wise with all of these other ones, and compare this way. So let's compare 3/4 and 1/2. Greatest common, least common multiple is 4. If I count out my 2's, I will get to 4. 4 is already in 4, so let's just make this 2/4, okay? And so 2/4 is actually greater than, or 2/4 is less than my 3/4. And so that's not what I want, because I want something that is less than, and this 3/4 happened to be greater. Okay, so I've got 1/2, and I've already checked that out. So 1/2 is equal to 1/2. I don't want one that's equal to 1/2. I want one that's less than 1/2. Let's check 6/10. Okay, so 6/10, 1/2. If I count out my 10's and I count out my 2's, the least common multiple, the first number that's on both lists, would be 10. So I'm not going to mess with the 10's. I'm just going to multiply this by 5/5. Remember, this is an equivalent fraction because 5/5 equals 1. When you multiply by 1, you're not changing the number. It's still the same number, we just make it look different. 1/2 is the same as 5/10. So now I can compare 6/10 and 5/10. And unfortunately, 6/10 is still greater than 5/10. I'm looking for something that's less than 1/2 or less than the equivalent. So, sure hope it's D because that's our final answer to choose from. Let's look at 1/3 now. I've got 1/3 and I've got 1/2. And if I count out my 3's and count out my 2's, 3 is not an even number, so I count 3 6, and I can count 2 4 6. So I want to make both of these 6's. So I'm going to set it up like this. Multiply by something equals sixths. 2 times what gets me 6? That's 3, so I want 3/3. You always want the same number, numerator and denominator. 3 6 equal to 1/2. 3 times what equals 6? That's 2. You want the same number, 2/2. So 1 times 2 equals 2. Now, look at this. My 2/6 is less than my 3/6. And remember, my 2/6 is my 1/3, and my 3/6 is my 1/2. So I can say my 1/3 is less than 1/2. So that is going to be my answer. That is one way we can look at it. Since it's 1/2, that's an easy one. We can just look to see, do any of these have a numerator that is less than half of the denominator? And the only one that has a numerator less than half the denominator is D. The rest have numerators that are exactly half the denominator or more than half the denominator, which means they are half or greater than half. That's a cute shortcut we can use.